Hey there, and welcome. Do you ever feel like you're just sitting on this mountain of data, but you're not quite sure how to turn all those numbers into real, actual insights? Well, you are in exactly the right spot. Today, we are unlocking the secrets of your data by opening up our Inferential Analysis Toolkit. So, picture this. You just dropped a ton of money on a brand new marketing campaign. The sales numbers come in and they look pretty good. But then the big question hits. How do you really know if that jump in sales was because of your brilliant campaign, or was it just a fluke, a random bit of luck? See, that's the kind of mystery that data can help us solve. I want you to start thinking of yourself as a data detective. Seriously, all those numbers you've gathered, they're clues. And today, we're cracking open your detective's toolkit. These tools are all part of something called inferential analysis, which I know sounds kind of complicated, but it's really just a fancy way of saying we're going to learn how to read the clues to uncover the real stories hidden inside our data. So here's our game plan. First up, we'll talk about these hidden stories in our data. Then we'll get into our three main tools. We're going to grab our magnifying glass to look at averages. After that, we'll do a consistency check to understand spread. And finally, we'll get to the fun part, connecting the dots to find relationships. And, most importantly, we'll wrap up by figuring out how to choose the right tool for the right job. All right, let's kick things off with data's hidden stories. You know, a bunch of raw numbers on a spreadsheet, they don't really tell you what to do next, do they? To make those smart, confident decisions, we need specific techniques that help us go from just having a list of numbers to actually having knowledge. And that right there is the whole idea behind inferential data analysis. It's all about using a small, manageable piece of data, like, say, 1 week of your sales numbers, to make a really good, educated guess, an inference about the bigger picture, like your sales for the whole year. It's all about making smart generalizations without having to look at every single piece of data you have. Okay, let's grab our first tool out of the kit, the magnifying glass. This is what we use when we need to zoom right in and compare two different groups to see if there's a real, meaningful difference between them. Now, the technical term for this is comparing the mean, and mean is just the statistician's way of saying average. So we're using this tool to figure out if the average result from one strategy is genuinely, significantly better than the average from another. And a chart like this just makes the decision so simple, doesn't it? Let's say you're running a coffee shop. You ran promotion A 1 week and promotion B the next. Well, by comparing the average daily sales, the winner is just staring you in the face. Promotion A is absolutely crushing it. And this isn't a gut feeling anymore. It's a data-backed conclusion. It lets you confidently put your money where it's actually working. So the main takeaway here is simple. When you've got two options on the table and you want to know which one performs better on average, comparing the mean is your go-to tool. It helps you pick the winner. Okay, tool number 2. Let's build on that idea a little bit. This is what I call the consistency check. Because, sometimes the average just doesn't tell you the whole story. We also need to know how reliable, how predictable our results are. The official name for this tool is comparing standard deviation. The best way to think about it is like an archer. The average is the bullseye. A low standard deviation means all their arrows are clustered tightly together right around the center. That's consistency. A high standard deviation means the arrows are all over the place. So it's really all about how spread out or predictable your results are. And this slide just lays it out perfectly, right? On the left, with those consistent sales, you pretty much know you're gonna get around 100 sales every single day. It's predictable. You can plan your inventory, your staffing, no problem. But on the right, those sales are totally erratic. The average might be the same, but one day you're completely swamped, and the next day you're paying staff to stand around. Which business would you rather run? So the huge takeaway here is that consistency really, really matters. Sometimes a slightly lower average with high predictability is way more valuable than a high average that's all over the map. A lower standard deviation is a sign of reliability. It's a sign you can count on it. And that brings us to our third and final tool, connecting the dots. Okay, this is where we really start to feel like a detective, going from looking at just one clue at a time to finding the hidden relationships between all the different clues on our board. And this quote just gets to the absolute heart of it. It's not enough to look at things by themselves. The real aha moments, the true insights, they come from understanding those hidden connections between different factors. This is what takes you from basic reporting to having some seriously powerful predictive knowledge. This incredibly powerful technique is called regression analysis. We use it to understand and even model the relationship between different factors, or as we call them, variables. The cool thing is, it doesn't just tell you if two things are connected, it tells you how they're connected. So, just look at this simple table here. It's pretty obvious, right? As the ad spend goes up, the number of daily customers also goes up. But regression takes it a giant step further. It can actually tell you, hey, for every extra dollar you spend on ads, you can expect to get, say, 2 new customers. It quantifies the relationship for you. And that is just incredibly powerful. The big takeaway is that regression helps you understand influence and lets you make predictions about the future. It lets you ask what if. But, and this is a crucial detective's note, always remember that just because two things are connected, it doesn't automatically prove that one thing causes the other. It just shows they're linked. That's a really important distinction. So there we have it, our 3 amazing tools. But here's the thing, the mark of a truly great data detective isn't just having all the cool gadgets. It's knowing exactly which tool to pull out to solve the specific mystery you're facing. And this chart right here, this is basically your cheat sheet. If your question is, which of these 2 options is better, you grab your magnifying glass and compare the mean. If you're wondering how reliable or predictable is this whole process, you use the consistency check and look at the standard deviation. And if you're asking, how does this one thing affect that other thing? Well, that's when you connect the dots with regression. And that's it. You are now officially equipped with the foundational toolkit of inferential analysis. Comparing averages, checking for consistency, and finding relationships. These are not just some abstract academic ideas. They are practical, powerful tools you can start using right now to find the valuable stories that are hiding in your own data. So as we wrap this up, I'm just going to leave you with this one thought. You've got the magnifying glass, you've got the consistency check, and you have the power to connect the dots. The only question left is, what mystery are you going to solve first?